RESPCT is an 8th grade project aligned with North Carolina Guidance and Information and Technology Standards. The project is a chance for youth to, as Klieger, Valenchik, and Litterat write, experiment with habits and perceptions incorporating diverse experiences before solidifying the viewpoints they bring into adult life. Students must find out what respect means to individuals of different backgrounds and cultures, thus the name of the unit, by using technology tools such as Google Sites and Flipgrid to access information. In order for students to understand individuals of different backgrounds and cultures, they must first define such differences. Students begin by describing the visible differences between images of Barack Obama, migrant mother, and other individuals on Post-its, constructing knowledge, as Wu and Reeves say, by attempting to make sense of their experiences. After students write down their descriptions, they categorize the differences in groups, and the teacher helps the class combine and rename these groups according to new vocabulary. In this way, students derive learning from rich conversation with other people, allowing them to begin to grasp concepts and ideas that they cannot understand on their own. In order for learning to take place in this social constructivist framework, however, social interaction must be fostered. Crudgens et al. Recommend fostering online social interaction by designing computer-supported collaborative learning environments that allow social off-task communication, and Flipgrid is initially used for this purpose. In lessons 1 to 3, students record a video introduction of themselves on Flipgrid, reply to the introductions of students in a collaborating school, and respond to the replies they receive. The activity also serves as a pre-assessment because students are asked to introduce themselves and state what makes them different, without having discussed vocabulary like gender, race, or culture. Additionally, Crudgens et al. Note that pitfalls such as taking for granted that social interaction automatically takes place are not uniquely related to computer-supported environments. Therefore, face-to-face interactions also need to be nurtured by teaching students social skills, creating shared social norms, and engaging students in cooperative learning. This, in turn, will teach students how to use social networks, practices they are currently developing by interacting with friends, who, according to O'Keefe and Clark Pearson, may have a limited capacity for self-regulation and susceptibility to peer pressure. Continuing to find out what respect means, students learn about individuals and their backgrounds and cultures by posting observations of gender, racial, and cultural and socioeconomic stereotypes seen in images or videos selected by their teacher. Students in a diverse, collaborating school engage in the same activity, with everyone posting on Today's Meet, a microblogging platform that invites and motivates youth producers because of its simple and intuitive interface design, one of Shao's characteristics for fostering participatory culture. Today's Meet also allows the teacher to generate a transcript of posts, which they can use to create a word cloud to be posted on the class Google site. The cloud helps users analyze interaction processes in Today's Meet and shows how crowdsourcing has been used to determine the most valuable contributions. Students post in Flipgrid, comparing and contrasting their word cloud with the collaborating schools, explaining whether they agreed or disagreed with a large word in either of the clouds, and reflecting on how seeing the stereotypes made them feel, including personal experience with the stereotypes if applicable. Students continue learning about individuals and their backgrounds and cultures by interacting on Flipgrid. After posting their Flipgrid reflections in Lesson 3, students reply to the videos of their peers at the collaborating school starting in Lesson 4. Then in Lesson 5, students respond to peers that reply to their posts. Because Flipgrid displays a selfie of each student that records a video, students will be able to see who at the collaborating school appears to have a different gender, race, or culture, and they will be encouraged to, as Ellison et al. Writes, activate the latent tie with these individuals. These weak ties may provide additional information and opportunities which speak to interaction with a wide range of people and the more tolerant perspective this might encourage. Students demonstrate what they have learned about interacting with people of different backgrounds or cultures by conducting a Google Hangout interview with one of the peers they have corresponded with. During the interview, students respectfully discuss what differences exist between people, how these differences affect each of them, how these differences affect their treatment of others, and what these differences can teach people. Specific questions are given in the day's handout. This project's design, having students post to Today's Meet, reflect on their and others' responses in the form of a word cloud and video chat through Flipgrid and Google Hangout, continues to emphasize social constructivism, using the wisdom of the crowd to build knowledge about gender, race, culture, etc. This knowledge is built thoroughly with specific prompts at each stage of reflection, with repeated emphasis on highway comments seen in the full lesson plans linked in these slides and in the questions of the interview. By recording great personal involvement, students are continually negotiating, arguing, and adding to evolving ideas, resulting in the growth of the students' influence as well as the expansion of the class's ideas. The fact that there are 2 classes involved in this project also offers adolescents one of O'Keefe and Clark Pearson's deeper benefits, expansion of one's online connections to include others from more diverse backgrounds. This has the twofold benefit of providing access to non-redundant information, as Ellison et al. Point out, and fostering greater self-disclosure, according to Jerliga and Shaken. In addition to expanding students' access to information, I also wanted to expand students' opportunity to share information. Therefore, students create not only a video interview, but also a product or event to teach their peers why and how they should learn to understand people's differences. To begin this process, students post on Padlet the answer to the concluding question of their interview: how can we learn about others' differences respectfully? The teacher points out common themes in students' responses and divides the class, with each group reviewing resources aligned to one of the themes. These resources are also posted on Padlet, along with ideas for teaching other students the strategies in the resources. Students like and comment on what they believe to be the best idea. Contributions matter, as the number of likes determines which idea the group assigned to those resources will pursue. Once this is decided, group members work together to create exemplars of the idea, which are posted in another Padlet, where their classmates can provide feedback before the group shares their exemplars with the rest of the school. Providing resources from diverse sources, the APA various universities mindtools.com gives students the opportunity to examine the task from different perspectives using a variety of resources. Requiring students to comment on ideas and exemplars enhances their individual and collective creativity. And having students create a product or event, share their understanding with their schoolmates, involves them in an authentic task. While this design has many strengths, however, it does have three main weaknesses. First, interacting through video does not mask gating features such as physical attractiveness and stuttering. To address this, the teacher could have students use Padlet, which supports text, audio, and video posting, to start interacting with their peers at the collaborative school. Students could move on to more visual media as they got to know peers at the school. Second, students do not work with any experts aside from their teachers to construct knowledge. To address this, the teacher or collaborating teacher could invite community members to speak about individual or cultural differences by guest lecturing in the classroom, participating in a video conference with students, or commenting on Flipgrid. Third, when designing products and events to help their peers learn to understand people's differences, students are given distinctly themed resources and ideas, and groups are instructed only to pursue one idea per theme. This defies Reeves, Harrington, and Oliver's characteristics of authentic activities, that authentic activities are to be ill-defined, requiring students to define the tasks and subtasks needed to complete the activity, and that authentic activities allow competing solutions and diversity of outcomes. To address this, the teacher could have students move the advice from their interview partners into columns, each with a theme on Padlet, assign each group to one of the class-created themes, and have each group review all resources, determining what skills are needed to follow the advice of their column. The teacher could also, if more than one idea has a following, have groups break into subgroups to pursue multiple ideas for teaching skills to their peers. Some of the key differences between this final and my midterm are the shift from participation as described by Chow to social interaction, which provides incentive for that participation. The direction of research. In the midterm, I focused on mass communication from traditional and social media. In the final, I focused on personal communication through reflection and social media. The enhanced Bloom's level of the final assessment, from curating others' artifacts to creating one's own. And the expansion from constructing and sharing knowledge within one class to constructing and sharing knowledge outside of one class.